So is it okay if we videotape this session today with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first off, we'd like to welcome and thank you for coming today. The reason we brought you here today is because we know that you guys are always sitting in class as students long times throughout the day. And you know, there's a lot of strain and soreness, and we want to be able to help you and explain to you why posture is important. So we've supplied you with some PowerPoint slides in front of you, and we'd like you guys to follow along with us. Okay? So what is good posture? Posture is the position in which you hold your body upright against gravity while standing, sitting, or lying down. Good posture involves training your body to stand, walk, sit, and lie in positions where the least strain is placed on supporting muscles and ligaments during movement or weight-bearing activities. So what we're going to do today is we're basically going to focus on the sitting aspect of posture. We're aware that gravity can affect, standing, walking, lying down all the time. So what we want to do is we're going to counteract gravity and help you guys out with sitting with the least amount of strain as possible. So, can any of you tell me why you think posture might be important?
It prevents muscular pain and backache.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
Prevents strains and overuse of muscles.
Good. So basically, you guys hit it right on the head. It's basically so that we can keep our joints and bones in correct alignment so that muscles are being used properly. We want to prevent fatigue, any other strains, stress, and of course, contributes a good appearance. You guys want to look good and feel good with what you're doing and why you're doing it. So, next up.
Okay, so common incorrect postures. So when you guys are in class, or when you're at home or anywhere, do you often see other people or maybe yourselves using incorrect posture? And if so, what types of incorrect posture?
Slouching.
Yeah, definitely slouch when we're in class for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah, could be a problem. Anybody else?
Hunched over. Being hunched over.
Yeah,
Over and straining your neck.
like hunching over. Maybe like after a long, you must have a lot of lectures and you'd just be tired by the end of the day. Yeah, so definitely these could be issues. And if it's once or twice, a couple days, it's not that big of a deal. But over time, these habits, which are pretty hard to break, can lead to bad stress on ligaments and muscles and joints, and you don't really want that. So you kind of want to work on some things to correct it. So you might be asking yourself, what can I do to change? How is it possible? So what we did was we broke it down into 4 different segments to try to help you maybe in different environments. Maybe you could remember these segments and try to help you improve your sitting posture. Sorry. So, Fred, can I demonstrate? Sorry. So you were right before what you said. So some common incorrect postures. So one would be slouching. Okay. Forward head. Okay. Rounded shoulders. You can see those. Very uncomfortable. Twisting to the side. And arms reaching, but too short. Yeah. So you don't want to, and you'll know, we'll talk about this later, but with laptops and everything, it can be really, really stressful. Okay. All right, so we broke it down into 4 segments, like I mentioned before. Legs and feet, your trunk, head and neck, and arms. Okay, so we're going to talk about each one of those, and Kyle's going to lead you to that.
Okay, so we're going to kind of start from the bottom up. So Ryan, if you want to come up and kind of demonstrate while I talk through these. You can also look at the pictures that we provided in the PowerPoint. But the first thing, you want to make sure that your toes are kind of facing straight forward. You don't want them kind of pointing in, pointing out, right in line with what you're facing. And same thing with your knees. You don't want them to go outwards, inwards at all. Just nice and neutral with your shins directly above your foot there. and leaning forward of the leg. You just kind of want to get this 90-degree angle that he's showing here, as we've also demonstrated in the picture. Same with the knees. You don't want them to be too high above the hips. So to see, he's kind of got this straight line going right back to his hip. That's what you kind of want to have. You don't want to be up in the air or too low. You keep that nice neutral position. And the same thing, you know, and girls do this a lot, guys as well, but they cross their legs. It's really not that great because it's cutting off your circulation, can lead to nerve damage in the end. So if you can avoid that as much as possible, it's for the betterment of yourself. Next, moving on to the trunk. You see Ryan's got a nice straight back. You want to keep it kind of, if you envision yourself against a wall, so Craig, you want to kind of show us over here? One way that we kind of like to think of it is if you leave your head, the back of your shoulders, and then your bottom right up against the wall. Kind of visualize just a straight line going right up. That's what you want to do when you're in the chair. So if you're just a little bit in front of the chair, you can kind of picture with Ryan just being against the wall. Everything's going to be in contact with the back of his head, his shoulders, and then the bottom, right up in that line. And then his shoulders, I know as Craig had mentioned before, or demonstrated, you want them nice and neutral. You don't want to have them kind of hunched forward or backwards too much. It's kind of in that neutral plane. As far as the head and neck, you don't want to have the forward head that we discussed. Kind of keep it right back. If you think about the wall, it's helpful. Just to keep it back in line with your shoulders. Your back keeps the spine neutral. You don't want to be twisting your head too much, leaning it to the side. Again, just keeping everything straight and neutral as possible. And then Jeremy kind of discussed, you may be using a laptop or taking notes on a desk. So how close that desk is to you or what you're working on is very important. If it's too far away, you're going to be reaching. If it's too close, you're going to put yourself in a poor posture. So if you can get that in a neutral distance away from you, trying to keep your arms kind of neutral with a 90-degree, as we kind of saw with the knee. And importantly, you don't want to be like supporting yourself on the desk. So you think you want all your support kind of coming from your trunk. You don't want to be resting on the desk trying to keep yourself up because that's not going to be helpful. So just kind of use your hands for what you need to do. And same thing with if you're using a computer or you're looking at someone that's teaching, you want to keep your eyes straight forward. You don't want to be looking down too much or looking up. It's just going to kind of get you out of that neutral head.
Okay, so now we're going to put it all together. And so if everyone can just get up and come sit at one of the seats at the table for me. This is just going to be a time where you're going to practice what we've taught you so far. You're going to just get a feel of some of the things that we taught you. And even if you want to look at the person next to you, you can kind of see what they're doing too, if they're doing it right, if they're doing it wrong. And if you have any questions, you can just ask me. I'm just going to give you guys a quick look. So does everyone feel comfortable?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you can try anything out. Feel how it feels when you lean back, when you lean forward. Feel good?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a couple different things that you can do now too that can make you even more comfortable. You can use something called the lumbar roll, which is just like a normal towel wrapped in tape. What you do is you just put it on the curve of your back, press it up against the chair, and it actually keeps the natural curve of your spine. So we made some for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And if you each want to try one out.
Can we keep these?
And just see how that feels. If you don't like it, you can get rid of it, but sometimes some people find it more comfortable.
That makes it easier.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, like these chairs, they don't adjust height-wise. If your feet are flat on the ground, it's fine, but if not, and say it's too low and you're too flexed, you can sit on something like a pillow that raises yourself up, so your feet can be like flatter on the ground. Even if that's too little, you can sit on another pillow, keep the lumbar roll back there. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I think it's comfortable.
Okay, so This doesn't just apply to sitting at a desk. It can apply to driving, eating, watching TV, basically anything that you're sitting at. And if you look in your slide, the second to last picture is actually, if you find yourself in a desert, you can actually use proper posture riding a camel. So now we're just gonna have a little assessment of everything that we taught you guys. Do you have any questions before we do that, or? Okay, so now we're gonna break you guys up, kind of ask you a couple questions about what you did today, why you think it's important, and then maybe just have you do it a couple times. Sound good? Okay.
So I'll just work with you one-on-one. Alright, so.
What are you gonna do?
Alright, so you just gonna do
So, yeah. So, can you tell me the reasons why posture? Now, can you tell me your steps that we've taught you?
Now,
and then we're just gonna kind of stand up. Okay, so just stand straight one time. Alright, so if you could just sit right now.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll do how you stand up. First up, and then I just want you to come back over here. You stand. I just want you to move up to the desk or to the chair. I just want you to sit down and remember the steps that we taught you.
like rotation.
Good. You can throw the point forward. We need your angle. Back is on straight. Great. Good job. You can go sit back down in the desk.
Yeah, you guys can go back to your seats.
Very good. So we can sit with Justin.
Okay, so all the references that we use are at the end of the slide. If you have any questions or if you forget anything, you can reference those. Or we also gave you a handout in case you forget some of the information. It just gives a step-by-step instructional guide on how to sit with proper posture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.